I just want to talk a little bit about, growing up in Staten Island, but also more about entrepreneurship and your hustle in high school and college. So if you want to just tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to think. It was so long ago. I would say the hustle kind of began when I got my CD burner back when I was like 13, 14. I bought what's it called, the CD burner from my friend. He installed it for me. So what did I do? I bought a CD, a mixtape from my friend, because I wanted all these songs. They were all on all these different albums, and he said, "Hey, I can make that. I have a CD burner." So I said, "Okay, cool." So he charged me. I remember it was like $15, and I was like, "Oh man, I could still buy so many CDs from this guy, but I'd rather maybe make them myself." So I got my own CD burner, and I collected a bunch of songs, and I actually brought in a playlist to school. I went to Port Richmond High School. I brought in 7 pages of songs, and I would just tell people to pick them, and they would pick 15 songs. I'd make them a mixtape, and I would update that list all the time. That was kind of early on in the game of hustle, where it wasn't I need to get a job to have money. It was more I wanted to create something really cool for people, and music was one of my things. I know selling other people's music wasn't legal at the time, but it was just me. It was like a passion, and kind of curating songs for people. I didn't look at it as bootlegging, because it wasn't their full album. And I was also putting people onto new music too. I was listening to a lot of DJ Clue mixtapes at that time, so I was doing my own version of that.
Did you do anything in the fashion end back then?
I didn't. I always wanted my own stuff, but I didn't really know enough resource when I was 13, 14. So to me, fashion was just kind of something that I kind of found on my own. I would just go to the mall or Soho or the city, just get stuff when I was younger. I feel like the internet was different back then, and it wasn't as things weren't as customizable. But when I hit a little later on in the game, once I learned how to screen print, it opened my eyes to the ability to make my own fashion stuff.
When and how did you learn how to do screen printing?
Yeah, so my friend Garrison over at Ad Hoc Art over in Williamsburg, he was putting together a screen printing class, and I saw it online because I learned that was the technique in which how you print shirts. I found out that a lot of the shirts that I bought were that. So I said, okay, let me find out how to make it. And then once I learned how to make it, it just kind of opened the floodgates of creativity. And I was like, oh wow, I could put out a shirt every month. And that's pretty much what I did. When I learned how to screen print, my first thing was picking a design that I thought that we wanted to print in the class. They let us print one of our designs. So at that time, that's where I picked the Stereotype design. It was something that I made on my Photoshop, and it was just me playing around, trying to be a little witty, put in the logo, a stereo and the word type next to it, just kind of being funny. And of the 3 different designs that I did on Photoshop, because I didn't make too many, I picked the Stereotype one, because it really resonated with me the most, and I thought it'd be pretty cool to put on shirts. And I was also having a concert with my brother and my friend Paul Mars 2 weeks later. So I actually took, where'd I go? I went to Foot Action in the mall, and they had the 5 for $25. You could get all different colored tees for $25 or something. I bought a bunch, and then I basically just printed on all those. And I printed on probably 20 different shirts, 20 different colors. And when I learned how to screen print, that final class, I printed 20 shirts instead of 1. They gave me the opportunity to do it, and I did it. I gave everyone a shirt for our concert, and from that point on, people asked me for more of them. They said, "Hey, do you have that Stereotype shirt?" And I just kept it going. From that point on, I would put out a shirt a month, pretty much around age 21, 22, and then just kept doing it. It was kind of like a hobby for at least 4 years. It was just like a shirt a month, a special occasion shirt for this. You know, maybe an artist we loved did something, we made something inspired by that, or maybe there was something in the world going on, and I would make something based off that topic.
So when did Stereotype become more than just like a shirt? And it became, even just more than just a, urban street brand. It became a mission. And, and what is that mission and your personal mission as well?
Yeah, I would say around the time when I started making bookmarks, even though that was early on in the game of putting out products, I was making a lot of bookmarks. And then once I saw how the bookmarks were resonating with people, it got really addicting because I wanted to reach even more people. And that was the bookmarks I started making like the second year I started doing Stereotype. But I would say Stereotype became a bigger deal once I made the decision in my mind to make it a bigger deal. Like, I was working a regular job, Stereotype was my like passion on the side, and then I basically said, hey, the only way this could thrive is if I put like hours aside to do it, not just coming home for 1 hour a night making a bookmark or whatever, because I was making all the bookmarks from scratch. So I was working a pretty good job at the time, and I was like, hey, if I can make my own schedule, I'm going to make the day that no one wants to go to work the day I want to go to work. So I made Monday that day. And I didn't know what to do for 9 hours, but I was like, hey, whatever it is, I'm gonna hustle for 9 to 10 hours this day with Stereotype. Most of it was creating. It was making stuff, learning stuff. Also, I would just have random meetings with people that inspired me. I would say, hey, and then I would like get good ideas. We would brainstorm, and that was all Monday. So that was like 4 years ago that happened, and I saw the momentum picking up from that point on. I basically started doing a lot of pop-up shops all over. I made some good connections with some good people, and I kind of just became like the steady pop-up shop at a few events, and then people would meet me at that event and then say, hey, we love your pop-up shop, could you be at our event? And I kind of made that it was around that, I was like, wow, I'm going out, I'm selling a lot of hats right now. It was like early on in the game when snapbacks, before they even became popular, I was selling them. And then people caught on to them. So that was really cool. And I would say then around that time I was doing the pop-ups, and I met someone, which eventually led me on tours with certain people like G-Eazy, Tory Lanez, Rocky Fresh, like going city to city, east to west, or Midwest, all different places, selling the merch, doing what I would do in Staten Island, in Arkansas, meeting kids in Arkansas and like autographing their hats upon their request. And then I was like, wow, I'm literally doing this like a full-time job, literally on the road full-time.
So you hopped in your own car and you just went on tour with them, or so tell me a little bit more about how you did a tour. I mean, that's like a big deal.
Yeah. So I basically linked up with my friend Kurt Rockmore. He's an emerging artist, and he basically was opening up for several different artists, and he reached out to me to work with him. And I rode in the back of the van basically from city to city. I didn't drive the van, but I was in the back of the van. There was tons of stuff there, and it wasn't that comfortable. But hey, that's the hustle. It's not comfortable, but made the most of it. And then the experience within itself. I saw around that time when I started not being home as much, there was even more love. Like, it's crazy how that works, if you're not around all the time. But I think people just started to see that I was taking things more serious, and then I think they started believing. I think people always believed in me, but I think once I really started believing in myself and what I was doing, I think it just was a chain reaction.
Right. So that reminded me more of like the old school way of marketing. Like when a musician started something, he would sell CDs in the back of the trunk of his car, versus today where everything is online. So tell me a little bit more about like that division for you, or of that old school marketing, but also the new school marketing of social media and online.
Yeah. So I'm grateful that I grew up the time I did, because I've been able to see. I grew up in the old days where we would just call each other or beep each other, to the days where now we Facebook message instead of text or call. So I grew up and I was always very sentimental. It's always been something like writing someone a nice letter. I always thought that was a bigger deal than it was giving them a big gift. And I think I just took that approach that I had in life to the brand, and I think it became transparent to people. Social media became something I got really good at and something I really like to do. And I would use social media I would get everyone's Instagram at all these events. We would stay connected with all these different people. I would post things on social media like, hey, I'm going here, for however many likes, I'll give away X amount of bookmarks. So I would use social media to my advantage. I didn't see it as something that was negative. I saw it as, well, how could I connect with these people? How could I, now that I know these people, how do we keep them engaged? And I would just, I would do the social media, and I would really I would try to make it to be like something like really positive. Like if they would read it, they'd be like, oh wow, okay, I'm gonna look at, I'm gonna take a different approach on things. So I've always been really about the positive vibe, and I've really pushed that through the brand and who I am. That's been my big thing, just the positive vibes.
So even taking that one step further, I mean, you've really gone, just beyond, what most people do for companies and helping people. So I know you really gave back specifically on two big projects that helped somebody, who had a brace and somebody with a wheelchair. So can you tell me about those things that you did to give back?
Yeah, of course. So it was always something that was really important to me to always give back, and I just look at it and I'm like, wow, I literally have 2 hands and 2 legs and 2 feet, and I could walk, and it's literally not everyone I know could do that or have that. So whenever things kind of pop up, or like someone reaches out and they're like, hey, well, this is really important, I really try my best to put the pieces together. The first instance was with my friend Ray T, who he has to wear a back brace, otherwise like things won't operate that well with his back. And I was talking to his wife, and she was telling me how like he needed a brace, he needed to wear this brace, but it was white and it just like stands out. And he said, he wanted something more custom. And she said, hey, is there a way that you and your friends could customize the brace? And I was like, so I don't see why not, because I know all these artists, we do all these art shows. And I've got a man that I work with often when it comes to curating or getting artists, especially OG artists, or like artists that have been killing it for a really long time. My friend John Exit, I reached out to him first, because we've had a lot of success in the past curating things, and he's found a lot of great talent. So he basically reached out to several artists. We made it a day of it where they came and they painted the brace and they added their flair to it. And it was a long day because the brace has to dry, it has to do all this stuff. And we presented it to the guy, Ray T. And it was like a life-changing day. He was just so happy. Everyone there was so happy. It was a special day. And all I did was put my name on the brace. Like, I autographed it, but it was like a joint effort of like 20 different artists that made that what it was. And that was just such a special day for me. So that was a memory. Super grateful that I had the opportunity to help connect some dots and make that happen. The other time you mentioned was we helped a young man, Jermaine, get a wheelchair. And same thing, it was just a lot of people that all did a little bit of a part, and it made it happen. He reached out to me pretty much just on Facebook and was like, hey man, I'm trying to get a new wheelchair. Could you help? I don't know if he saw the video of the brace. That happened a few months before. I don't know but I was like, hey man, give me a day to think about what I could do to figure out how we could do this. Because I didn't have, when I saw the wheelchair, I just didn't have that extra $700 on me to just come out of pocket. So I kind of thought of a way. I was like, hey, how could I use the platform that we have to help him? And I remembered a quote that he said when we were speaking about something, and he's like, I know growing up I was not like the other kids, and I basically thought that quote was really inspiring. I put it on a cool shirt. We put it up on the website. We put it up. We saw what happened. People responded. We sold a few dozen shirts, and people came out. They drove right to me and were like, hey, I want to help. What could I do? And they supported the shirt, not like the other kids. And within like probably 3 weeks from that day, we got the wheelchair for him. It was a really special day in my life. I'll always remember it. And I'm really happy that he's able to get where he wants to go now. Because I realize I'm so blessed. I guess I could walk, and my friend, he can't. So the fact that we can help him get around quicker, that means everything.
So something important there was how, out of the whole thing, also a shirt. It evolved into a shirt. So I know you collaborate with a lot of people on doing shirts, and a lot of artists and inspiration. So tell me a little bit more about collaboration and the process of collaboration, and why do such a thing. A lot of people just use their own designs or, put their own stuff on, like a Mark Echo, and but you take it to something else where you're collaborating with people to do something bigger.
Yeah. So, well, one, I feel everyone's powerful in their own right, but I feel when you combine the powers, you're even more powerful. Like the Power Ranger, when they go in the Zoid or whatever it is, Power Zord, they're even more powerful. I look at it the same way when I do collaborations with different people. And I've collabed from everyone from a young lady that just loves hip-hop to a man that started the first graffiti social media network. So I think there's just a certain level, especially when an artist knows your brand, I think you get a special product, especially when you've worked together on many things before, and then it's just like that built-up energy, and then you release the product. I've seen that collaborations work best when it's that built-up energy as opposed to forced energy, like just walking up to someone and being like, hey, let's collab. That happened one good time, I believe, my friend Lucid, he literally, the day he met me, he just came up to me and said, hey, let's collab. And it ended up being one of our number one selling products. But I really believe in built up energy. And that's happened with a lot of the collabs that we've done. We've known these people, like my friend Chris of Robots Will Kill, my friend Abby. I think it's super important as a brand, because I think you can only sell the same people so many times, especially in clothing. It's not like we're selling burgers or like ramen noodles where people come back every day to buy stuff. Like, I feel like our energy is only as powerful as the energy we combined it with. So I think doing the collabs, we get a whole new level, and it adds a whole new layer to the company of creativity. And I'm really grateful for all the collabs that we've done. They've all been pretty successful, and I'm super grateful for it. And I'm super grateful that we get to pay artists every month. I get to write checks to everyone for pushing the word, getting the name out there, and it's cool. We don't make artists pay us to do it. We pay them every month, and it's just been really great to be able to put bread in people's pockets all the time for a design they did a year ago, and they're still getting royalties from it. So I think that's so cool. I love being able to support an artist for their work, and I love working with people and giving people goals, and then when they hit the goal, we all win, stuff like that.
So do you consider yourself more of like an urban streetwear brand, or like an inspirational social brand?
I would definitely say urban streetwear with positive community vibes, because I think the heart is urban streetwear, but I think if you know the brand and you see what we do, you would think we're a non-profit organization. You wouldn't even think that we're a streetwear brand. A lot of people confuse me for a non-profit, confuse Stereotype for a non-profit, and I just say no. Those are projects that we do with our profits, and but the root of it is definitely to make really cool stuff. But I think my heart is in the place of helping, in the place of supporting artists and helping people with their dreams. So it's branched off into more. So it's definitely just not only a streetwear brand, but that's definitely the heart of it. The goal is to always make really cool merch, but also to be like a brother and big brother to people and help them.
So it sounds like you're more, project-based versus overall, company-based. So like each shirt becomes or each product becomes sort of like its own project as well.
Definitely. It's definitely, they all become goals. So like when I work with people, their goals become my goals. And yeah, the brand, we're big on all that stuff, man. We have a place on the Stereotype website where people can submit their dream, and then when we receive the dream, we either call them or we write back to them, providing resources or details of how to move forward. So it's not just a dream, but it's something that you're living. It's like you're living the dream.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Dave Noodlez. Had a great time with Lyle Foxman and Adam Smith. Don't forget to check them out at Lyle Foxman, at Shop by A. Smith. Also, if you want to check me out, just Google Dave Noodlez with a Z If you want to check out Stereotype Co., just go to stereotypeco.com, at Stereotype Co. If you want to check out Projectivity, just go to projectivitygroup.org or at Projectivity. Also, you could check out my new marketing branding company, Aware, AWHERE media.com. And I'll see you guys soon. Don't stop dreaming.